Peace and blessings. This is Nubia I of the Blackberry Beauty Holistic Academy, Ancient African Healing for the Modern Sister. Peace and blessings. So this is part 2. So let me say this to you. The reason why I gave the greetings again in the same opening is my camera cut off at like 31 minutes, and I'm telling you, I must have talked for 45 minutes. I was talking for 15 minutes. I felt like what I had to say was magnificent, was phenomenal, but obviously Spirit didn't think it was that phenomenal because my camera was not plugged in and it ran out of batteries. It wasn't properly charged. So the devil is a lie, and we're going to get through this, and I'm going to give you this information. I'm not sure exactly what I already gave. If I repeat myself, just know that we need to hear it. First of all, let me just say to Spirit of above, I love you with all my heart. Bless this session that we're having today. All the ladies today, including myself, we want to travel outside of our comfort zone. We want to be one with you. We want to be practical in our approach, and that's what I'm saying. If you know that you have credit card debt, and that is, first of all, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the past. Forgive yourself for thinking that a lot of times when we overspend, it is because we are trying to fulfill something within ourselves, and we use money to do it. But the fact is, I'm not going to sit here and just talk about, so forgive yourself and do some affirmations and let it go. I'm telling you that right now you can change your life, and you can change your life by having an inner body experience. I know as spiritual people, we always talk about this outer body experience. We always talk about astral traveling. We always talk about ascended masters. We always talk about the angels helping us. But all those aspects want you to help yourself. You know, God did something so magnificent. Goddess did something so magnificent. They put themselves in you. And what I want us to do is be more grounded in our approach to traveling outside of our comfort zone. Because usually the things that we're uncomfortable about is money. It is the money that keeps us from having what we want. When we have more money, we do more things. As I said, Oprah said that one thing she knew is that money brought her freedom. And I want money to bring you freedom. That's why I'm dealing with our money, and I'm dealing with it right now. If you have credit card debt, you can actually, go to it. Set up a payment arrangement. But this week, we're not using credit cards. We're going to make sure, we're going to learn and understand that I am that I am. That everything that I believe, is outside. Everything that I believe that is outside is going to save me cannot do it unless I do it. We are co-creators. We work with the Creator. The Creator helps and but we have to step out there first, and the Creator assists us. So let's use affirmations, visualizations, vision boards. Let's use fake it till you make it, all of it as supplemental to the work that we're going to do. So please, if you have credit card, call up the credit card companies and make arrangements to pay and cut up your credit card. You don't need it. What you need is to build good credit. You build good credit by paying your bills on time. That's it. It's not how much you have, it's how well you pay. Once you make arrangements, you can do that. Remember, we're going to get our file folder, and what we're going to do is we're going to call them, we're going to email them, and we're going to, whatever they tell us to do, we're going to do it. Because that really is the most important part. It's not just them telling us what to do and then we hang up the phone. What we're going to do is, so a couple of things. We're going to not use our credit cards. We're only going to use our debit cards to buy what we need. Remember, we're putting our money where our mouth is. We're only buying what we need. If our goal is to go to live in North Carolina, or our goal is to get a new job, or our goal is to have more money in abundance, then how is buying that guitar getting us what we want? How is buying those chips or buying those shoes or buying our dresses getting us toward our goal of traveling, moving, saving money, opening up a savings account, buying a home? If it doesn't go with that, we can't use it. So that includes, I was saying I don't know if I said this already, but I know for a lot of us as spiritual beings, we'll sit there and say, but Sister Nubia, all I buy is stuff for spiritual stuff. I buy incense, I buy candles, I buy aromatherapy. You already have that around you. You don't need it. When I take a sea salt every day, I'm trying to imitate, if you will, the ocean. It's more powerful for me to go to the ocean one day a week than to take 7 straight baths in my bathtub, because that is what's clearing and cleansing. I don't really need the salt in the bathtub. I need the salt in the ocean. If I really want to smell and have that aromatherapy that uplifts me, I don't really need the incense. All I have to do is go outside or in the garden and allow the wind to blow through the trees and the flowers and smell that aromatherapy. If I want crystals because I want to be more grounded, there's rocks. Even where I sit now, all I have to do is sit on the rock. All I have to do is hug that tree, and I will get the same vibrational frequency and strength that I would get from those crystals. I love the metaphysics. I love spirituality, but I think that we can use that as an escape. They become our comfort zone as well, and we never travel outside of that. We got to stop saying we want stuff, but then we want a house, but we spend all our money going out for dinner every week. We want to move to Hawaii, but we spend all our extra money going to a club every week. We want a beautiful relationship, but we spend it with men that don't desire us, in the sense of not going to take us where we want to go. So let me make sure I stay on the list, because I really did. I was talking. I had so much I said, but you know what? Let's leave that where it is. So the first thing, let's just go over what we want to do as far as traveling outside our comfort zone is write your intentions, goals, desires, and aspirations. The second one is clearing debt on a mental, physical, and spiritual. Because remember, cleaning debts is important because peaceful endings bring on peaceful beginnings. Let's talk about clearing debts on a mental, physical, and spiritual. Let's say that on a spiritual level, that you had an abortion and you really feel bad about it. You feel so sad. You feel like you've done so wrong. You feel like the reason why your life is not going the way you want it to is because you've done something so bad, and the universe, God, Goddess is not going to forgive you. I want you to know that that's not true. You got to understand that even that child, that birth, that life has its own karma, its own soul, its own evolution. And it knew it was coming here for that 2 days, those 3 days, those 3 weeks, and maybe even those 3 months before you had to terminate that pregnancy. You have to write letters to that baby spirit and release it from your cipher, release it from your mind. You have to forgive yourself and understand that there's nothing that the Creator would ever hold against you. And you are the Creator. It is inside of you. That's why only you have the power to release the hurt, the guilt, the shame, the fear that you have about moving outside of your comfort zone. So you have to write a letter to the baby spirits. Also, another mental debt is you owe people. You owe friends, you owe family members, you ran, you shuck, you jiving, you hiding, you ducking. You won't talk to them because you owe them from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, some of us 20 years ago, and we're feeling guilty because we didn't return the debt. I want you to call that person, email them. If they've died, I want you to write letters to their spirit, burn the letters, and allow the ashes to blow in the wind, or take it and bury it in the ground in the park, or put the ashes in the ocean. But you have to connect to all those people, whether they're deceased or whether they're alive, and offer to pay back, apologize, ask what you can do. If they're not here, ask for the forgiveness in the spiritual world. Because remember, peaceful endings bring on peaceful beginnings. A lot of times we're running to escape. You know, there's a great song by Bob Marley. He says it, a beautiful song, and the song goes, you're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. You must have done something wrong. You must have done something wrong. Why you can't find a place where you belong. You must have done something wrong. Why you can't find a place where you belong. Running and you're running and you're running away. Running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. So you're running from yourself when you don't put your bills in order. The sensational feeling, like I said before, that you have, that the power is in you, not in the ascended masters, not in the angels, not in the spirit guides, not even in the ancestors. It's in you first, because you are at a higher ground, because you are walking in the physical body. It seems like that everything else is higher than us, but where we are is a holy place. So we have to treat our debts, we have to treat our past mental and spiritual debts and experiences. We have to release them and let them go. So our mental debts, we know our physical debts is literally credit card bills, student loans, with your car loans, whatever that is, and we're already making arrangements. But those spiritual debts, the abortion, the not forgiving the brother that might have gave you that STD, that venereal disease, not forgiving somebody for divorcing you or cheating on you, all of those are debts that are keeping you from traveling outside of your comfort zone. When you travel outside your comfort zone, so much good comes into your life. And so I want to make sure that we do that. So we're talking about your intentions. We're talking about clearing debts on a spiritual, physical, and mental level. And we're also going to talk about running away, making payment arrangements, calling friends, paying back your friends, writing letters, stop playing, making amends, and saying goodbye. So there's something too, I want you to know about this idea of what you're doing is you're making amends. When you call your friends up that you hurt or you were hurt by, and you offer to pay them back or make an arrangement or take them out, most of the time you'll find they don't even remember. And even if you don't have the nerve to spiritually release it and let it go. I was thinking that too. I said, so let me just say some of the assignments I want you to do this week, and then I want to really talk about saying goodbye, because this is a really important part, and I have to get the saying goodbye in. And what I want to say is, so when you, it's so much to say, and the Spirit is just telling me so many things, and I just want to get it right, and I want you to know that you can do it. A lot of times, I remember when I first announced that I was moving to North Carolina, and there was a sister, apparently she must have lived there for a while, and she said, oh my God, you would leave California to go to North Carolina? Why would you do that? And she said, as soon as that snow comes, I bet you'll be running back or you'll be missing California. What I want you to know that the comfort is for me to always be in California or a warm climate. In actuality, it's even a lie. When I looked at North Carolina right now to California, it is way warmer and hotter in North Carolina than it is here. When we were there in May, it was warmer and hotter in North Carolina than it was in the Bay. When I went there in January, it was 55 degrees, and here it was 62. It was only 12 degrees higher here. So really this idea of warmer is not even true. But the idea of even the snow, do you understand that if you lived on a tropical island all your life, then all your life you would get the same things that you've always been getting? Because within you is different aspects of yourself. Within you is parts of you that can do different things, but if they're never activated, if they're never triggered, then you never grow because you never get to use that. You never get to use that spiritual muscle. So there's something about being in the rain, when it rains all the time, that triggers a part of yourself that strengthens that. And actually that's the part of yourself that can answer some of the questions on how to get what you want. But because that part of yourself never been triggered, you can never get the answers to what you want because you kept staying in the same place. Same thing about snow. The idea of being in the snow is going to trigger a part of me that has never been triggered because being in California for over 20 years, I did not experience the snow. Therefore, something I wanted was on the other side of the snow, was on the other side of the rain, was on the other side of the colder weather. For some people, the hotter weather. When you're always in the same situation, you're going to always get the same situation. And what you want is something new, unique, and different, and beautiful. So don't be afraid of, what if I can't make it? Oh no, I'm not used to the cold. Or oh my God, it's going to be too hot. Or oh, there's not enough black people. Or oh, there's too many white people. Whatever it is, that's your excuses. That's your fear that's your comfort level trying to keep you in the same place. It is so important to build wealth so that money will never be an issue. Another thing too, so now I want to get into that saying goodbye. I remember for me it was my husband, and I remember when we first went together, me and him went to North Carolina, and we stayed with the woman who introduced us to the man that we bought the land from, that she also bought her land from. And we were there, and she was planting papaya, and my husband loves papaya. And we talked about, we had just put our $1,000 down payment on our home, on the land, and so we were looking at her land and looking at her garden, and my husband said, wow, when I get back to Oakland, I'm going to buy some papaya seeds and plant them. Now, I looked at her. She's a very spiritual woman, elder woman. She looked at me, and I was about to say something to my husband, but she did. She said, if you're leaving, if you put down money on land in North Carolina, why would you plant seeds in a place that you know you're not going to be in? Why would you plant seeds in a place that you know that you're not going to be in? If you are saying goodbye, say goodbye. You don't start a gym membership if you're leaving, if your goal that you wrote down is to leave in 3 months. You don't buy a new car if your goal is to leave in 3 months. You don't start a new job or take that promotion if your goal is to leave in 3 months. You don't plant a garden if your goal is to leave in 3 months. Those things tell the universe that you're planting seeds, that you're staying, that you're wanting to be where you are. When you say goodbye, you say goodbye. You don't start a new relationship knowing that you're leaving in a few months. You don't, there's so many things that you don't do because that is not congruent with what you say that you want. Put your money where your mouth is. So every time you go to the store, you're only going to buy the food that you eat. You don't need the potato chips, the snacks. That's not helping you. The food you want is the healthiest fruits and vegetables to open up your mind to having what you want. So you want to stay. You're only going to buy things. So if you're not buying boxes to pack your stuff, then you don't need to go anywhere. If you're not buying boxes to pack, if you're not checking out the moving truck, if you're not, what else are you not doing? If you're not, if you're not taking your pictures off the wall, if you're not calling up your creditors, if you're not making payment arrangements, see, those are the things that you're doing towards everything else. So something I said in the last video, I might have got cut off. Stop ordering stuff. Stop ordering books. You'll say, but Sister Nubia, like I said, we talked about the spiritual stuff, but you may say, well, Sister Nubia, what about books? I might need a book on how to start my own business. How many books do you have on how to start your own business you probably didn't even read? If you're not going to order the book, read the book, and then implement what the book says, then you do not need that book. Do you understand that you are wealthy right now? And that everything you do is because you think that you have no power to get your credit in order, that you have no power to make payment arrangements, that you have no power to pay those student loans. Even that feeling, those belief systems, that's your comfort zone. Your comfort zone, out of your comfort zone is having to set up payments, having to be integrity, having to be honest with people. You have to tell people too that you're leaving, that you're going, that you won't be around. You have to let people know. Another thing too, if somebody wants to buy you a gift or give you a gift rather, they say, well, what would you like for your birthday? Don't sit there and say shoes. That's not what you need. Say, can you give me a stock or bond? Say, I was looking at this stock and it's only $3 or $4 a share. Would you be willing to pay $20 so I can buy 4 or 5 shares of that stock? Would you say, I really wanted to open a second savings account and it's $50 to start to open the account. Can you go down to me with Bank of America and help me to open that account? You could say, you know what, I really need boxes in order to move. Can you go online and order the boxes and send it to my house? You could say, I really want that promotion. Can you help me do my resume so that I can get that promotion? Do you understand that's integrity with that's being in integrity with what you say that you want. Everything else is a big lie. Stop doing that. You cannot continue to do that. So, another thing too, letting go. If you are divorced, but you still have your ex's name, but you said you want a new loving soulmate relationship, maybe you gotta let his name go. If you are still having your cars or vehicles and you and your ex's name, and you're wondering why your relationships present day don't work out, because you haven't said goodbye. So you have to go back and say goodbye on paper, in spirit, mentally, so physically, mentally, and spiritually, you have to go back and say goodbye. You have to end. Peaceful endings become peaceful beginnings. That's why it's paying your debts of spiritual, mental, and physical. It's very important. So you're not going to buy anything that has nothing to do with what you want. That means that every single thing you do, the conversations that you have on the phone, if you know that you can win, you know that you can pay debts, but you get on the phone and you're really excited, and you start telling your friend about how you're working in this group or traveling outside of your comfort zone and how you're paying off your debts, and they go, girl, I ain't gonna never pay that. Why try? You're never gonna pay it off, not in this lifetime. Girl, please, I got a scheme another way. Then those people have to go. If they're not for you, they're against you. Let's say it together again. If they're not for you, they're against you. And we want them to be for you. So if they're not for you, as a matter of fact, we don't care if they're for you or not. It's not necessary. You're going to have to leave some people behind in order to get what you want. We want to be practical. We want to use meditation, visualization, affirmations for some things that we want, but first we want to do the work. File cabinet, first thing. Calling up your creditors, first thing. Writing your intentions, first thing. Being practical about who and what you are, first thing. This has everything to do with traveling outside your comfort zone, because all of that, for most of us, is very uncomfortable. Letting go of people that are not supporting us, very uncomfortable. Only buying exactly what we need for only the goal that we're talking about that we wrote down. Remember when the first beginning I said write down your goals, your desires, your intentions, and your aspirations. That is all that everything you do has to be in cooperative with that. Everything that you do. So remember that. Hold on, there's a dog around, just making sure it's not coming out. Okay. So call creditors. Okay. So I say goodbye. Remember I was talking about saying goodbye? So we want to, okay, I want to say this, but I didn't say before. I promise you all that I will have my mic. I promise you that in the next video I'll have my mic. So I just want to make sure, I want to welcome you all again to this intensive. And I want to tell you that do not be afraid, because we are here together. Utilize the group page. Make sure again that you introduce yourself. What is your name? Where do you live? What is your intention? What do you need the most help with? How was this video helpful to you? What you can do to change that? How you're not going to buy spiritual stuff. How you're not going to allow that to keep you from getting what you want. How you understand that the God and Goddess is within, and that's going to move you forward. We're going to move into the next weeks, and we're going to do the work. But everybody this week is going to show their binders and all the things that they have in it. You also remember, included too is a suggested book list. If you know other books, please recommend those books to the group. You also have your pledge. In your pledge, I want you to say that upon rising and upon going to bed every night. Say that. Another thing too I was thinking is you also want to keep your mind surrounded by, you want to watch things and people that talk about money. There's a great brother named Dr. Claude Anderson, and I'll be sharing his videos periodically on a group page. Where you want to saturate your mind with people who are talking about building wealth, about having money, about clearing debt. Especially people that look like you. If they're black folks talking about building wealth, you want that. Of course, you can have other people that talk about it, but especially when you see yourself, you tend to do it. If people are not teaching you how to make money and how to clear your debt and not using spirituality as a way to keep you locked into a certain place, I feel like spirituality has turned almost like religion, and it makes us live in a fantasy without doing the real work. And the best part is you're not alone. The best part is you're doing it, all of us are doing it together. So let me just make sure that we went over everything. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to write our intentions, our goals, our desires, and our aspirations. The second thing is we're going to clear debt on a mental, physical, and spiritual level. We're going to write down all of our debt. We're going to write down all of our debt. We're going to get in touch with Credit Karma, see what's on our credit report. We're going to dispute anything that is not us. We're going to call up every agency, make payment arrangements, put it on, and we're going to make it automatic debit so they can take it out automatically. We're going to also call up people. We're going to pay debts to people. We're going to write letters if they're deceased or passed away. We're going to write letters and telling them why and how we apologize. We're going to burn those letters and allow them to go into breeze, let them blow in the wind. We're also going to stop running away. We're going to ask ourselves, are we trying to leave a certain place because we want to go to another place because we think that we're going to find something different? Wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are. So you're not going to run away. That's why you're doing the work, so that you can be as light as a feather. In ancient Kemet, there is a belief system. Ancient Kemet is also, Kemet is the name for Egypt. And in Egypt, the belief is that there is, when you when you pass away, before you get into heaven, there's a gatekeeper. Her name is Ma'at, and Ma'at has a scale. And Ma'at tells you to put your heart on the scale, and on the other side of the scale is a feather. And your heart has to be as light as the feather. And when your heart is as light as the feather, you can ascend into heaven. This is what we're doing. When you lighten your load, when you don't have to think about, I'm running away from debt. I'm running away from my bipolar or controlling or unloving mother. I'm running away from my ex. I'm running away from my responsibilities. You will find those same responsibilities wherever you go. So it's going to be very important that you actually do this. Your life is going to open up and blessings. Remember, everything you need, you already have. Everything I need, I already have. Affirmation, everything I need, I already have. So there's only blockages that is keeping you from realizing that you have it. And once you eliminate all of the blockages, and that's what you're doing by cleaning up your debt mentally, physically, and spiritually, you open up heaven and the gates to heaven. And we're going to do it together. So no worries. We're going to do it together, and I think that's it. So yes, I am just so excited and so happy and so joyful that we can be here together. And I'm just so happy that you're just so patient with me and loving. I want this for y'all. We are going to use that dynamic Leo energy, that confidence, that courage, that self-expression, that divine creativity to move ourselves to the places that we say we want to be. And we're going to do it together. I love you all with all my heart. Thank you for being patient with the videos. And I'm just wanting to make sure the ancestors are not giving me any other nudgings. This is Nubia I of the Blackberry Beauty Holistic Academy. Ancient African healing for the modern sister. Peace and blessings.